Hey, Tony Gaskins here. Somebody put a comment asking me to talk about the men who say that sexual positivity is good for women. Basically talking about loose booty culture. The way she wrote it was hoe culture, but you know, hoe spelled like the New Orleans way. I think that's how they spell it in New Orleans. And that is a good point, and that's kind of what the point I'm talking about sometimes when I talk about how grown boys want to serve women up on a platter. So a lot of grown boys will give women misinformation to weaken the woman. And the men who say stuff like that on podcasts and on YouTube, they have a voice, and so they have a group of women that's in their DMs, that's in their audience. And so what the men do is they tell the women, hey, I want you to shoot your shot. That's one thing they say. The reason why is because they want every woman that is attracted to them to shoot their shot. If you notice, on the contrary, I tell women, if you shoot your shot at me, it'll make me throw up in my mouth. So what that does is that make every woman with any kind of class, any kind of decency, no matter how she felt, if she sensed that my marriage ain't going right, if she sensed that she my wife and my wife ain't my wife, because I said that, she ain't gonna shoot her shot. So women don't shoot they shot at me. Women don't come at me because I'm not in the field playing those games. Another thing that these men say is, if you are abstaining as a woman, y'all got to understand the difference between celibate and abstaining. Celibate, that is different than abstaining. And look up the definitions. But if you are abstaining, what another thing these men tell women is that you should tell a man out the gate, like on the first date. And the reason why the grown boys say that, one of the guys who used to say that is the relationship coach who got caught cheating on his wife. I forgot all about that. And I remember when I told women, do not tell a man you are abstaining, because you're going to send him into game mode. And if you tell him you are abstaining, then you don't know if he is talking to you because he like you, or because now he has made you a target, he has made you a challenge, and he's going to wine you and dine you until he can spine you. You don't know, because you told him your business that is between you and God. What you plan to do with your kitty cat, that is your business. That is not a man's right to know. That ain't his business to know. All you need to tell him when he try you is, we ain't there yet. After he try you about 10 times, if he got any sense, any class, any couth, he is then going to tell himself, okay, she must be abstaining, because I done wined her, I done dined her, I done fined her, I done tried to climb her, and she done turned me down left and right. No matter what I done did, this woman either must be a virgin, or she must be abstaining, or she must have something that she ain't trying to give to me. That's what he gonna come to the conclusion of if he got any kind of sense. If he can't come to that conclusion, he don't deserve a clue. Go on about your business. This ain't Blues Clues. Go on about your business. Now listen to me. And the other thing, what they're going to tell you is like what she said. Tony, talk about these men that try to tell women it's good and it's okay for them to have a whole phase. H-E-A-U-X. Phase. And that is the same type of man. And the reason why the man is saying that, so that when you meet him, you feel like it is okay that if you attracted to him, that if you feel like y'all got chemistry, it's okay to bust it wide open. So what I'm about to do, I don't watch the strategies videos of these clowns and the red pill videos. I don't watch them because it just make me sick to my stomach. They just sound stupid most of the time. They'll say one right thing just to get you hooked and get you on in there to make you think they got some sense. And then the rest of what they give you is like strychnine poison. But I might start watching them just so I could come on here and tell you the opposite, because they working for the devil. They're working for the devil because they want to belittle the woman. They want to demean the woman. They want to control the woman. They want to deceive the woman. They want to manipulate the woman. They want to conquer the woman. That's the work of the devil, because that does not turn into happy and healthy households. That turns into broken women who are being broken by broken men. So listen to me. Y'all do me a favor. I done did every relationship topic that I could think of. So when you see this stuff, just ask me a question like this young lady did. I don't see all my comments, but I try to read them at least for 20 minutes a day to try to see any questions. And you could put a hashtag Q just so I could see the question. And it has to be a question that is a question that applies to many, not just you. You can't say, Tony, you know, why does my boyfriend wear 2 left shoes and sleep on the right side of the bed? It got to be something that every woman can now about relate to, not just a specific question, just specifically for your relationship. Because if that's the case, you need a one-on-one coaching session with somebody. And so listen to me. You need to understand that not every man talking online have your best interests at heart. And a lot of these men giving you just a little piece of the game to make you drop your guard, to make you feel like he there with you and he got your back, and that he really trying to put you up on game. But it's what he don't tell you, or what he do tell you that's misleading, is to serve you up on a platter. That's all it is. It's to serve you up on a platter. So that way it's easy for him. And I remember when I sat down with a relationship coach one time, and he was like a love speaker, wrote love poems online. And he said to me, he was like, well, I'm single, so I could sleep with whoever I want to. And the reason why he said that is because he knew that I don't believe in guys who get the ears of women by talking about love, should be dipping into those women and taking advantage of those women who are infatuated with their mindset. And that's what a lot of men, but see, that's what most men will do. A young lady sent me a video of a young guy, and several of y'all have said his name. He a young guy. Talking about, yeah, Tony, I listened to you and him. And she sent it to him. I said, nope, sis, that ain't it. That ain't it. Cause I could tell by his spirit with the little cheap chain he wearing, trying to look like something, and the way he wears hats, the little baseball hats, and just kind of the way he wears t-shirt, just the way he dressing, he want to be cool. He want to be cool, and he ain't got enough connection to be giving away the game. And where his wife at now? Where his wife at? I ain't look long just because men know men. I could just look at a man and tell you what he on. I can look at a man and tell you what he on. And there's other guys out there who they was on it for the money and for the fame. And then when they heard me start giving away the signals and giving away how to recognize these guys, they gonna tighten up their game. They gonna got on in line. They gonna tighten it up because they're like, uh-oh, Tony out here giving away the game. Tony out here exposing me, telling these women how to tell that I'm fake. Let me go ahead and tighten the thing up. And what happened is, it was a couple guys out here that they wouldn't mention God because they wasn't living for God. They ain't living for God. Didn't want to walk with God, and didn't want to be put in no box of believer in God, because a lot of people don't believe in God. Well, some people don't believe in God. So they want to be ambiguous and kind of be able to reach all audiences. But then when they saw so many women start putting in my comments, Tony, the reason why I only listen to you is because you say God. Next thing I know, I start seeing these guys that never said God start saying God. So what you have to realize is that it's a lot of men that will say some things to play on you, to get you to drop your guard, but to leave a little bit of that game open. They'll leave a little bit of that game. And that's how I was when I started. When I first started, I was 22 years old. I turned 23 the next month. From 23 to 25, I gave away about 80% of the game. 80 to 90%. And the reason why is because I had not fully made up in my mind that I was going to be locked all the way in to my wife for the rest of my life. I had not made up my mind. And that's how I could recognize it when I see it. But the thing about it is I was 23 to 25. It's a lot of you guys in their 30s, in their 40s, still in that childlike, boyish, immature mindset. And then when I hit 25, by the end of that year, I turned 25 in March. By the end of that year, I say, you know what, Tony? You're going to have to make a decision to go all the way in, to lock all the way in and give away 100% of the game. You're going to have to give away 100% of the game because it's on now. It's on. You done seen some tests. You done been out here and had wandering eyes. You done about to slip and fell and ain't been able to about get up. Go and get the lesson and realize that the devil out here. Go and get your life right. And when I got my life right, my mind right, when I got my mindset right, it was 2009. 2009, and guess what? That was the year Steve Harvey wrote his book. Before that was no other relationship coaches like that. That was the year Steve, and I had been doing it since 2007, but ain't nobody really know me. I'm, a peon. But then 2009 it started to get serious when Steve made it popular. Then after that, the next guy I seen probably was around 2011, maybe end of 2010, 2011. Then it really started to pick up around 2012 to 2014. That's when your modern day guys that you see outside of myself start to come on the scene around 2012. By that time, I had already been out there for 5 years. Already out there setting the precedent. So what they did is they came, I blew up in 2010. They came and they just emulated me. They did everything I did. Some of them did it the same pose that I did in a photo shoot. They did everything I did. They copied the whole blueprint. And that's why a lot of them never reached out to me, because they was watching me and copying me. They were taking my messages, taking my tweets. They were changing a word. And that is what the devil does to God. What the evil spirits do is emulate the Holy Spirit. That's why in satanic worship, if they say God number is 7, then they say the devil number is 6. God had a cross that Jesus was crucified on. In satanic, they flip the cross upside down and they use an upside down cross. You see what I'm saying? It's a lot of emulation from the evil side. So when you walking and you pursuing purity and righteousness, God gonna give you a blueprint. But then those who don't have the advice and the vision from God, they have to copy an original. They become a carbon copy. They have to copy the original, but what they do is they play the game to get ahead. They don't keep it authentic and just build organically. They pay to play. They buy fake followers. They pander. They use clickbait. They do all kind of stuff to then get ahead, to run their numbers up, because they don't have the real substance of just a message. And see, this is the thing. That's what I want you to understand is I shoot from my cell phone, and I shoot off a whim, just off the cuff. And I don't edit my videos, and I don't use thumbnails, and I don't fill out the description box, and I don't use keyword tags. And yet still, when people look into the relationship coach group, if they list 5 to 10 of us, my name gonna be in there. And the reason why is because I work for God. And when you work for God, you don't have to use all the tricks and gimmicks God gonna elevate you and give you the platform he needs you to have to reach the people he needs you to reach. Might not be big as those who working on their own agenda or working on Satan's agenda, but many are called, few are chosen. Not everybody can go. So God ain't gonna have me out there too big too soon, because also that limelight will kill you. And also it get too brutal. And if you get too big too fast, when you got a real truth, a raw truth, you'll get canceled. You'll get canceled before you even get started. And see, that's why God move how God move. That's why God take his time with you. That's why you'll get some traction, and yeah, you'll grow, and yeah, you'll be able to pay your bills and take care of yourself, but God ain't gonna rush you. He ain't gonna rush you. So that's what you got to understand. So thank you for that question. Y'all put your other questions in the comments and stuff about that. But that's why men saying that. They saying that, for one, they want them women, the loose booty women, they want them women in their tribe. They want them women to follow them. They want them women to support them. And they want them women to be okay with dropping them draws for them. And a lot of guys who don't have substance, who run in their mouth, they don't want a real woman. They want a loose booty woman. So that's why they try to disarm the woman and make her feel like her choices and that loose lifestyle is okay. That's why they tell her that. When in fact, no man who take himself serious feels that way. And we actually regret the loose lifestyle that we live, and we could do it over. We would do it totally different. But we're not gonna condone and promote women making the stupid choices that we made. And that's not unfair to women. That's actually protecting a woman. And like the lady said, she said, Tony, explain to them that when a woman is loose and she in that loose booty phase, that only benefits the man, not the woman. And that's 100% correct. The man benefits from that woman's lack of self-love, lack of self-care. And women say, oh, just because I want to sleep around and I want to sleep with multiple men don't mean I don't love myself. That is an oxymoron, because when you're sleeping with these men, you are picking up spiritually transmitted diseases. You also are going to pick up sexually transmitted diseases. You also may end up getting pregnant and then having to terminate the life of this child that you don't want to have with this man that you don't know. So now you messing up your body, you messing up your tubes, you messing up your future. You sowing seeds that you're going to have to reap the harvest of, no matter how painful it may be. And you setting yourself up, because one of these men gonna end up having a woman who will whoop your behind for sleeping with her man. She knows she can't whoop him, so she'll come whoop you, and eventually one of the women gonna take your life, because fornication is a sin. So the more you fornicate, the greater the price you will have to pay. And that's why the Bible say the wages of sin is death. And so it hurts the woman. It also hurts the man too. But when we say benefits the man, it means the man getting what he wants. He getting his pleasure. But pleasure does not lead to happiness. Pleasure lead to pain. So in fact, it's hurting the man too. But the man just don't know right away that it's hurting him just as bad as it's hurting the woman. Because what happened with that man, especially if he mess around and make a little money, he'll mess around and sleep with a woman. She'll get pregnant. She'll keep that child. And now he got to pay child support for an illegitimate child for the next 18 to 22 years. When he just thought that was going to be a one-night stand, and that turned into a lifetime. So it eventually going to hurt the man too. And the man going to eventually contract something he can't get rid of too. So it hurts everybody. There's nothing casual about sex. Sex could be a death sentence, or it could be a life sentence. Sex is not intended to be casual. It's intended to be taken very seriously, because it can change your life, and it can ruin your life, and it can cost you your life. That's what we got to realize and understand. Hey, so understand it right here. You got to be very leery of the messages that you're getting from online. And you got to evaluate this man. You gotta ask this. You gotta ask yourself now: is this man straight? For one, because a lot of gay men posing as straight, running their mouth. Is this man married? Running his mouth about love and relationships and telling women what to do in love and relationships. Is this man married? Can I see his wife? Do he show his wife? Praise and promote his wife? Is he look ugly? Is he look ugly now? Because listen, if he look ugly, meaning if he was the runt, he don't really know what he talking about anyways. He reading in a tweet, he reading in somebody's book, he regurgitating somebody else's message because he ain't have that kind of motion. He ain't have that kind of motion with these women to know what he even talking about. So you got to really evaluate this now. And no disrespect, I'm just saying this. He looks challenged, and this is the kind of stuff that women. That's why I say women are blind. Women are blind. I'm trying to tell you, it's so many women who blind. There are men who are blatant frauds, and women will say, Tony, I only listen to you and such, and can't tell. That's not now. When women say I only listen to you and such, they're not talking about a fraud. Cause that brother, he older, and he done been around here, he done been out here, and he too old to be playing games. Because at that age, stuff start to work differently anyway. So he's a father figure, and really might be a grandfather in real life. But now the other guys in their 30s. And when they say, Tony, I'm listening to you and such, I'm like, such. You can't see that. You can't see that. So I have to tell these women, I say, listen. Because one of the guys that one lady sent to me, he could have been in his late 20s or maybe early 30s. Tony, I think y'all got a lot of synergy. Y'all maybe could collab. I looked at the man. I knew. Looking at one video, I ain't even listen to the video. I just could look at how he dressed, how he carry himself, what he on, who his influences are, what he on. Just the style with it. You see what I'm saying? It was not. He influenced by the wrong people. He got the wrong people in his ear. He finna set these women up for an alley-oop. Finna set them up for failure. So, hey, listen to me now. And you got to use discernment. And you got to have you a checklist. And this is the thing. So, it's a handful of men out there that doing this thing, giving advice to men and women about love and relationships from a genuine place. It's a handful of men out there. And it's probably a handful of women. And what y'all got to do, I'm going to tell y'all, stop saying names. Stop putting names in the comments, because I'm going to tell you half of you don't know what you be talking about. And sometimes women will say women name and can't even read the woman. I go listen to the woman, I'll be like, this woman ain't doing nothing but regurgitating me. She watching me and then trying to tell it like she know what she talking about. But that's my quote. That's my teaching. Ain't no way she can learn that as a woman now, because I'm a man. I played that game now. And then I could tell too, a lot of times what y'all women fall for is the alpha female. Y'all think because this woman is prettier than you in your mind, that she automatically know what she talking about. So really you listening to her because you want to be her, because you want to look like her, because you want to talk like her, because you want to dress like her. So you looking at her like she the cool girl in the mean girl club, and you feel like the gothic girl, the nerd girl, the thespian, the theater major, the band major, and you getting picked on and overlooked by the mean girls. And now the mean girl get on YouTube and out here with a little promise group or some other kind of group, some kind of mastermind, and she talking down to you, making you feel less than, making you feel overweight than her, more unattractive than her, broker than her, lesser than her. And you like, I want to be her. I want to be like her. I want to have her money. I want to have her looks. And you listening to her, and 9 out of 10 of them don't be giving you advice about men and don't bit more know what they talking about than the man on the moon. It was one lady that some women said her name to me, and they listened to her because she married. I went to her page, seen her husband. I saw how he had that hip pop in one of his pictures. Oop, sister, I'm gonna tell you like that right here. That ain't how no heterosexual man stand and take no picture. She done got finessed by a man who got a cover up. She a cover up. And I'm gonna tell you now, just cause we married ain't no license to talk about love and relationship like we know what we talking about. You still got to take us to task. You still got to hold us accountable. You still got to look. And see, for me now, what I be doing too is if I'm going through and I'm learning a lesson and I'm struggling, I'll be quiet for a second. I'll be quiet. And I get that lesson, then I'll teach from that lesson. I teach from that lesson. And I have to sit down, shut up, take my time. And then the lesson I get, I have to implement it in my life with my wife or with my kids or in my business, wherever the lesson come from. Instead of just living in chaos and living in repetitive mistakes, but yet sitting on a high horse talking down to people. What we have to do for everybody that's a life coach that's watching this, if you're not a life coach, go take the life coach certification if you got it in you. I just added a payment plan. And don't get on there with low integrity and sign up, make the first payment, take the whole course, steal the certificate, then keep letting your card get declined in the other months. Because some of y'all did that, and that's why your business failing. Because God don't bless mess. He's seen that you stole from his son, that stole a certificate and ain't paid for the training, because you convenient let that card get declined, and when you ain't get no message from me, oh, well, Tony probably got so many students, he ain't noticed. No, I noticed. I just turned you over to the Lord and let the Lord deal with you. But every aspiring life coach, I just added a payment plan to the life coach certification. And after you get certified, then you can get on mymentor.life, start meeting clients. Now, if you was a coach, when you going through, you need to shut up. You need to be quiet and get that lesson. You ain't got to sit out for 6 months, 8 months, 12 months. You'll get the lesson in a day if you sit with the Lord and talk to him, and then you teach from that lesson the next day. And that's how you run that thing. Because we need more coaches. So if you got it in you, you want to help somebody, I need you in that life coach certification. We got a coaches mastermind group now too. That's kicking up this month. I need you because we need more voices. And one of these days, I'm praying that I get the time, especially when my sons get out the house, man, I'm gonna be back on that road all the time. Cause my wife, she ain't like that. She ain't clingy. She'll be happy I'm gone, or she'll come to the city with me and just do her thing while I'm teaching. But I'm gonna need some coaches in these different cities that you could be on the panel, you know, get up, give you a little 20-minute keynote on the message that the Lord done gave you. And so I need you to go ahead and get on out there and get trained. But God bless you, and we'll talk soon.